Yo, 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 what up? It's the Sideboard Podcast, boys. This is your host, Caleb Williamson,
What's
checking in hot.
what's up, guys? It's Tim here too. How's it going?
Good, dude. I don't know who that scrub was just a second ago, but it's going good. How are you doing?
He looks like he goes O2 drop.
Oh, is his name Marcus Cantarsi at Nats or what?
Ooh, or Team Wars. Huh.
Oof. Oh,
My back
is-
hurts.
hurts still.
Yep.
It's always the joke, bro. Nah. I mean, he made up for it last weekend.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, I didn't get to go,
Pro Play Tour.
but
Anyways,
yeah.
So the Sideboard Podcast, episode 27. We are past
Dang.
the quarter way to the 100 mark.
We almost have as many episodes as years have been alive.
You know, that's more than me for me.
Yep.
But anyways, how's it been going? How's life? I heard work's kind of stressful.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Last week and this week have been just a little bit crazy.
Yeah,
getting stuff figured out. We're under new management from the top down, so a little bit chaotic, but
yeah, I
it's all
can
good.
imagine.
I was finally able to log into everything halfway through today, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's always good. Got to get that weekly cast on, you know.
Yep, everything went live today, so we made it. We're good.
Yeah.
Day 2 is
There you
tomorrow.
go.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully it goes better than it's been going. But on the upside, we're both working.
Yes.
And yeah, so that's nice.
Yes,
Pretty nice.
that is very good.
So, all right, so let's just get into our episode today. I have a opening question just to kind of ice break the topics for today. And that question is, what defines a champion? Any terms you'd like, any game, any context?
The belt.
The belt.
I'm
Like a
just
wrestling-
messing around.
a wrestling
That
belt?
is what I was going for.
WWE.
I think what defines a champion is, man, that's kind of tough. Like,
It is.
I think it's someone who's put, like, you know, it's real, like, cliche, but like they've put the blood, sweat, and tears in, and they've proven themselves. So, like, whether that be like national champion or just being known for something, it kind of makes you like a champion at your craft, like, of that specific thing.
Yeah.
So I guess just that, you know, the blood, sweat, and tears, and being not just good but great at what you do.
Yeah, I think it's important to separate the difference between a winner and a champion. And it comes back to what you were saying, really, in my opinion. The winner is the person who wins, and the champion's the one who put the effort in, the blood, sweat, and tears, like you said, to also win. And typically, a champion wins multiple times, and a winner is just, you know, luck, basically.
And that's not to say that, like, if you don't win, you're not, you know, a champion. Because, like,
Yeah.
say, like, here's a good example, is Dragon Ball related. My article I did, was it like almost 2 years ago now? Year and a half, something like that, on original AOD.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say that I was a champion of AOD because I took that archetype through just about every possible deck you could build for it. And I knew the
Right.
deck and the engine. I knew it inside and out. I knew how to mulligan the deck with every different build. I knew how to sequence, you know, my turns 1, 2, and 3 against just about every matchup. I knew that deck, and
Right.
I may not have had mass notoriety, but I still was known to some level for playing that deck. I was the AOD guy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say like tenfold socially or locally, and then outside of that as well, people knew you for it. But yeah,
And that
so
and that, like, I didn't win anything major, but
right.
I mean that also goes to show, like, you don't have to have the belt or the trophy or whatever to be a champion of something.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of break the ice with that question, because today's topic is what makes a champion, or going a little bit more Dragon Ball related, champion, how to champion a deck and what that really means. And I know we've talked about it before, but we're just going to go a little more in depth for you guys on championing a deck and some of the benefits of doing so. But before we get to that, we want to go over some news that has been happening in the Dragon Ball Super world.
There's
a couple of things. Yeah, a couple of things that I've been noticing. Number one, promos hit the stores. That's exciting. The promos for set 12 have dropped, I think, officially last week when the set dropped, but some of the stores, obviously because of supply and things like that, haven't had their promos, but they're getting them now, which is awesome because we're going to see a lot of different decks, like set I think it was set 11. Yeah, last set, the Broly promo made a big difference for that deck. And so, as you guys know, promos change things, so keep an eye out, read those promos, see what happens.
Yes, they definitely make an impact on the game.
Yeah. So just wanted to remind you guys of that. And then a couple of decks that I've seen on the rise, and Tim, you can check in on these if you have played them or played against them. But the first one was King Piccolo. It was at the I just spaced on the town we went to. Oh, Visalia. Sorry. It was at the Visalia Pro Play Tour. Juha Bach played it. And the deck's been kind of, in the comments of the Dragon Ball page, I've been seeing a lot of popularity on the topic of that deck. And so just wanted to bring it up, say it's on the rise. People are playing it. Watch out for it. Again, read the cards. Have you seen anything about that deck, Tim?
Not really. I mean, I'm not typically a red player. I mean, I've played a couple red decks. I think the most I delved into it was when set 6 came out, before I picked up AOD. I played Red Gogeta like nonstop.
Dude, that was like our deck right there.
Yeah, that it was like perfect because people were like so hyped on Broly BR, and I was like, but Gogeta like auto wins like every time.
Yeah, as long as you played it properly.
Yeah, because like it was just a really good matchup, and I figured out the matchup itself very quickly, so it made it really easy to play against. And Broly BR was like the most popular deck of that set. So
yeah,
I haven't played a whole lot of red since then. I mean, I played like Frieza Swap I played it for a little bit, then Prison for a little bit too. But I haven't really looked at the King Piccolo stuff. I heard it was pretty nutty before release, like when people started testing based off of spoilers.
Yeah, it's definitely different because like you start at 6 life, so it's like whoa, like people are like, well, that's weird. But then once you kind of read the engine, it's definitely like someone I know, I think Joey Palladino said it was like the ultimate clapback deck, and so it's got a really strong like post your opponent going in turn. If that makes sense. We call it the clapback, basically.
I think I've watched a little bit of gameplay with the deck. I can't remember who from, but it looked kind of crazy.
Yeah, but anyways, just keep an eye out for that, guys. And then our final news topic for the day is actually a question, which came up in my testing against one of my locals. Is Whis a thing? The new Whis deck? What do you think about that deck, Tim? Have you played against it? I know you were
I
watching us
watched
play.
you guys. I loosely watched you guys play the matchup a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It seemed.
I'm not sure. Like the combo effect thing is really cool. Like being able to combo from drop, even on your unison being attacked, and then just getting to play what the vanilla you combo with is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I still don't think outside of Mecha, yellow has enough. Oh, I guess and Sin. But outside of those two very specific decks, I don't think just generic yellow has enough to go over the top. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those rogue decks that like just does a kind of a weird thing.
It seems like it generates a lot of value.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely a value deck, but I don't know. I just was curious what you thought and what the community thought about that deck.
Cool. Yeah, it would
definitely
be
has good
really
cards.
Cool if there were like some yellow Gojitas that you could fuse into off of them. With like, like currently your Gojitas are all blue basically, so or red, I guess. So you have to fuse with either blue or red energy. There's not really yellow Gojitas, but that would be cool if there were, because I think if they gave us like not like a busted Gogeta in yellow, but like a good one.
Yeah.
Not over the top, just a nice solid like top end threat.
Mm-hmm.
That might push the deck over.
That would be cool. Yeah, give them something to. That's what I kind of felt when I was playing against it, was that it summoned a good amount of like 20k attacker type dudes, but didn't really do much after that until it hit like the Celzino.
I just had this thought right now, but like maybe instead of Gogeta, they'd have to introduce a new mechanic with it, sort of. But you could do like some sort of like King Vegeta and a Bardock that like sacrifice their sons to play themselves. So like Bardock would sacrifice a Goku to play itself. It'd all be like within yellow, and then King Vegeta would sacrifice Vegeta to play. I don't know. It was just a weird idea I just had, like thinking about the Gogeta thing I said. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see something like that, where it's like,
it'd be like kind of lineage-esque, but not quite.
Connected. Yeah, Vegeta's lineage is coming out in set.
It is
Evolution, whatever that set is.
That was in
I don't
your
think it's
notes
going to be
not,
called set 13. It wasn't, but it's cool.
Battle evolution thing.
Yeah,
it's like the new
I'm going to call it a
theme
booster.
It basically is a theme booster.
So, yeah.
But it's not actual set 13 either.
Right. Yeah. That'd be cool.
The product looks
Whis deck's cool. Yeah.
Whis does seem cool. You're right. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those cool decks, but not like broken.
Yeah, for more than one reason, I probably would not play it. Reason number one being it's yellow, and you've seen me try to play yellow, and it just doesn't work. Right. Although I'm pretty sure I could play Mecha, because I can play that type of deck.
Mecha's not a yellow deck. It's different.
It's basically a colorless deck because you're not actually paying for anything.
Anyways, let's get on to our topic for today.
Yes.
So the topic we have for you guys today is championing, which is not really a word, but I'm making it a word. Championing a deck, which is when you attempt to master a given deck or a specific archetype, such as skillless or something like that. Not like control or aggro, but something more specific. So skillless, I would say like invoker, things like that, basically. And so that's our topic for the day. And my first question for you, Tim, is, or for us to discuss, is why would you recommend someone to champion their favorite deck?
You're gonna enjoy it, one, because it's your favorite deck, obviously, whether that be like character, mechanic, or whatever. But two, you're gonna enjoy playing it so much more when you've mastered it and are beating people with it.
Hmm.
It feels so much better when
Yeah.
when you win with a deck that you love versus just winning with the like de facto best deck.
Yeah, there was this when I used to play Panini. There was this guy who, in Vacaville, California, which is Northern California, we would always travel there, and he would play Ginyu, and that was like his deck. He played it every format, whether it was good or bad, and he always played Ginyu. And so when he would win, it was really satisfying for him because it was like, oh, the Ginyu guy won. Like I don't even remember his name. I just know he was the Ginyu guy. And so
Well, his name was
championing
Ginyu.
yeah, he assembled the squad, and it just gives you that satisfaction that you're attached to the deck, which in Dragon Ball it's kind of tough because we change meta so often and new decks come out, and it's like they always replace the old decks to an extent, and like sometimes a certain deck or archetype doesn't last a few formats. But I still would encourage you guys to try and champion a deck or a format and just adapt to the new cards with, the new sets and stuff like that. See how it goes. It'll teach you quite a lot about the limits of a deck.
Yeah, so kind of tagging on to that, like not even just a specific deck, but like when you like learn to master a specific deck, you're also learning to master the archetype, and that's the thing that you need to remember, because that's what's going to last when that specific deck may not be good in the next format or two formats down, but another deck that plays very similarly or is in the same general archetype, maybe that deck ends up being very good, and it shortens your learning curve because you already have a solid foundation with that archetype and like how the deck is supposed to work. And then all you have to do is figure out sequencing, because I mean every engine sequences differently.
Mm-hmm.
But you already know like what your game plan is. Now all you have to do is figure out like your turn order, and so that drastically reduces your learning curve. It makes you better with the deck faster, and it's just an all around like better and more efficient way to play.
Yeah. So my first point for championing a deck and what it does for you is it creates a masterful skill level throughout many formats. And my example of this is actually you, Tim. I would say Vegex is your championed deck currently. You've played it through several formats. It has adapted several different renditions. I would say like major renditions, probably like 4 different ones.
4 major. Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah, and I would just say like the benefit you've gotten from that is that all of the effects are brainless, and so you don't need to think about the effects, and you can just focus on the opponent, their playing style, their game plan, their archetype, and how your deck could beat that deck.
Yeah, so with Vegex, I mean, it is definitely easier because a large chunk of your deck, like 16 cards of it, you don't really have to plan for them, they just happen. So that automatically frees up, I don't know what the percentage would be, but that much percent of your brain when you're playing a matchup. You don't have to worry about that. So now all you have to do, like you said, is figure out how to beat your opponent. And like it's depending on how you build your deck, and that goes a lot into, the rest of the cards. You just decide what role you want to play. I think that's a big one. I don't think that was in your notes, but deciding your role in that matchup when it starts. Are you going to be the aggressor, or are you going to kind of police the game and then go in for the kill afterwards? Or are you just gonna have a good old mid-range slugfest back and forth? But I think deciding your role in the matchup early on is extremely important, and that dictates a lot of winning and losing.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like we've had games where like I'll start extremely aggressive with Vegex, and then you'll do something and I have to pivot like immediately. And I know that if I continue the path I'm on, I'm gonna lose the game in like 2 turns, if maybe the next turn. Or if I hold back a little bit, you know, save some of my Majin Buu attacks, things like that, I won't lose as many resources, and I can end up coming back because I haven't dumped everything I had.
Yeah, I agree. I think a perfect example of the pivoting point is when you're playing against like Reboot Gohan. It's a deck that literally warps every single deck's strategy of play. And so you really need to have mastery level with your deck to be able to combat a deck like that. Because most people are like, okay, well, I'll just defend against the deck and I'll win. It's like, okay, well, you don't just have to defend against it. A good Reboot Gohan player is going to not kill themselves when they don't know that they can actually kill you, and maybe stay, you know, do triple crit and then just pass. And it's like, okay, if you wasted a whole bunch of resources to defend, can you clap back and kill me? And if you can't, I might come back at you stronger with like a way better hand and all my energy up than I would have if I had gone in before. And so just knowing like not just the general matchup, but like the more in-depth plays that they could do to outplay you, and then knowing how you can outplay that, if that makes any sense.
No, it definitely does. I was gonna say something really similar also. I lost like the first like 50% of the thought. But it was kind of like oh god, now it's all gone. This is all bad.
That's okay. I think this is a good segue to go to our next point and just
we'll just forget about topic. What I forgot.
That's okay. So reason number 2 for why you should champion a deck and what it does for you is it can be very rewarding for your tournament experience. And my example for that is Legends. I think Legends Carrick is his last name. He was playing Invoker. He's like the known Invoker guy. And what I'm trying to point out here is that he has played that deck very devoutly for a while, and it has paid off in tournament runs, I would say. Like, so, you know, tournament run, he gets top cut, gets first place, top cut, constantly. And people thought Invoker was dead. Like, I'm one of those people. I thought Invoker was dead when the Demigra Unison came out, but it's definitely not.
I think well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that's the only deck he's played since set 9 came out.
Yeah.
But
at least
also,
competitively.
Yeah. I think there was a period, and like I don't blame people for thinking that like you did, but the best green deck in the last format didn't play Demigra because it was Gotenks, and it played the Vegito Unison instead.
Yeah.
So like that actually like wasn't a bad time for Invoker to like make a comeback, because its like biggest weakness wasn't really seeing play.
Yeah, well, I would say like Red Bull is one of the biggest weaknesses too, but even that matchup it can technically win. But yeah, so like just playing a deck that gets 1 or 2 new cards, it's not the most fun thing to do, in all honesty, because people like to play things that are fresh and brand new. but it is rewarding in a tournament sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, with Magic, there's a pro, Reed Duke, who is like for the longest time known for playing Jund. Like he is
Mhm.
the Jund guy. Modern Jund. You think of Reed Duke.
What color combination is Jund?
Jund in Magic is black, red, green.
Okay.
So it's a lot of discard, some lightning bolts, Tarmogoyf, Liliana the Veil. That is like it's just a grindy mid-range deck that solely just 1-for-1 back and forth with your opponent. Your opponent plays a threat, you 1-for-1 on removal with it, and you just go back and forth, having, you know, that 1-for-1 resource game. And you end up having more powerful threats than your opponent, because things like Tarmogoyf that just get super big later in the game, your planeswalkers that if they go unchecked they can just end the game. It was an extremely grindy deck, but he is known for playing that deck, and granted he is, you know, he's a pro Magic player. He's probably one of the best in the game. But he made a name for himself playing that deck over and over and over again, kind of like Legends has done with Invoker.
Yeah. And it paid off in his tournament run. I'm sure he's gotten several tops with it, or even won events, and because he's a pro, you know, that means payout and that sort of thing. But
we'll get there eventually with DBS.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm excited for that day. I'm stoked. That'd be so sick.
Me too. We'll get there.
When you were talking about Jund in Magic, that, you know what deck I think is like the equivalent of Jund is Ultimate Deck Toa.
I was kind of thinking that too. I
feel like it's the 1-for-1 trade type of thing. I answer your threat, you answer mine, but then mine are actually 2-for-1 threats. And you know, that's sort of an idea. I feel like, I don't know, I've had a mean hunch that that deck is very unexplored.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do with it, and I will give props, although I'm upset that Bandai recognized a few things and made some really not okay things not possible.
Why does every card have unique?
Well, that's one thing. If everything is unique, nothing is unique. Bandai, you don't need to put unique on every single card. Chillax.
Anyways.
But like, so I've talked about this on, I think, the last few episodes with the Dark Masked King.
Yeah.
I found multiple ways that very easily could have been absolutely snapped.
Yeah.
And like the last one that I mentioned, it took me a little while to like find that line, and like just looking at the fact that it's not possible means that the dev team is getting better.
Yeah, definitely.
With that being said, don't take all the broken things out of the game.
I'm just looking at
let the deck builders explore. That's a lot of fun for people who enjoy deck building, is just finding like the most crazy things you can do. So leave us a couple of bones. Let us have some fun in our playground.
I just counted 7 different cards in the Ultimate Toa deck that all have unique.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same thing with the new AOD. Like everything except for the Garlic and Android 13 had unique.
Yeah, so anyways, but that to me, that kind of felt like the what you're describing with the Jund deck. I wonder if it's going to be in a spot where we're format oriented to where those types of decks will succeed.
I think that deck is going to be very malleable.
Yeah.
I think
Definitely.
if the format changes, I think that deck still has a place in the format, but the Xeno cards that you play change.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they keep printing Xeno cards that are
Playable.
not black cards, colored,
Yeah.
because the deck really wants like colored Xeno cards, then it'll see updates and things like that.
Yeah. I hope they
Always.
continue to do it. You maybe
Yeah.
don't need to make it like a whole archetype in a set, but continue to print some stuff.
Yeah. And before we move on from the ultimate deck, I just want to show off for a second. Oh, come on.
Oh, you're not focused. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Tim's favorite card ever. Okay, that's enough.
Was that the second Boo secret?
It's the new one, yeah.
I'm saying that's the second one, right? There's only 2. Or have I missed one?
There's Majin Buu.
There's the AOD one and this one.
And this one, and
I think that's
pretty
it.
sure that's all of them, yeah.
So I'm 1 for 2. I need to pick this one up.
The price is down right now. It's only like $75.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty
cheap. I may
cheap.
just pick one up along with my my EDH order.
Yeah. Speaking of EDH and Dragon Ball cards, we have an affiliate link. Check it out down below. It is TCGPlayer.com. It has a whole bunch of other text in it, but we use Bitly, so you have a very short link to just click and make sure you bookmark it. That way it's super easy for you to find not only TCG Player, but our affiliate link. That way you can support us whenever you buy singles, and it's completely free. They just send us a little kickback based on how much you spend. So super nice there, and it just helps us keep things going and keep growing for you guys. So check out that and keep an eye out for it whenever you buy singles. We appreciate that.
Definitely. Another. Or you want to do the next one?
I'm just going to go back to our topic, and then we can do the rest later. Good. So our third point for why you should champion a deck is because it creates a sense of identity within the community, which we've kind of already talked about, but I just want to cover it a little more in depth. And my reference for this is none other than Tim Palacios, the Pan God.
Yep. It's kind of funny. There's been a couple tournaments we've gone to where I've been paired with someone and they just see my first name because I'm also Tim. Mm-hmm. And I'll get asked if I'm that Tim, and I was like, no, not that Tim.
That's funny.
But I mean, that just goes to show, like, even just the first name, just Tim, and that's what people think.
Yeah. Yep. And honestly, like, having big name people like that in the community, I've played Tim Palacios, the Pan player, because we're on a team so many times, and he's just like every one of us. But you know what the difference is that he championed a deck. He took it to nationals twice and topped with it twice in a format where people said it was impossible, and proved everyone wrong. And that's because he practiced every day, well, figuratively, with the deck, and figured out how to beat the format.
Yep. I mean, there's also others that have done similar things.
Yeah.
Like for the longest time, and like people may even still think this, but like when I used to hear Marcus's name, I would always think Broly height. Yep. Broly height. All the time.
You brought that up the other day. Broly height. Not Broly, but height of mastery.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like as the game like grows through like its infancy stages, if you stick to one thing, you're gonna be known for it. Mm-hmm. Especially if you do well, even if it's just at 1 or 2 events. Mm-hmm. Like you're people will see that, and it'll end up coming up later on.
Yeah. And I think it's just cool, to have people to look up to when you're building a deck that maybe isn't like the top tier. Mm-hmm. And you're like, man, I don't know what to do in set 12 with, whatever, Jaren or something like that. And you're like, oh, well, Jaren, maybe I'll look at, Russell Steltzer's new build, or, whoever's playing it that, plays it a lot, and see what they're doing with the deck in set 12 or something like that. It's just a really good thing for the community to be able to help each other with lists based off of like actual data.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that ties into championing a deck. And when you're one of the players that people look up to and ask for advice, championing a deck will create even a bigger crowd for people to follow you, I think.
Yeah. I remember what I was going to say earlier.
All right. So
it goes along with when you champion a deck. So we can both agree it allows you to effortlessly play through the deck. You don't have to think about much of anything outside of very strange corner case situations. But what it also allows you to do is to be able to test other decks against your deck.
Yeah.
And then you get to kind of play like this 4D chess sort of thing, where you know exactly what your opponent, aka your champion deck, is going to do, and now you have to figure out this new deck, how to combat that, or like what the optimal lines of play are. And then you also get to see how your old deck plays in response to that, and so you get to see new dynamics on both ends, and all that does is just further your knowledge of your deck.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, one of the things I think we don't do enough in testing is what in another game is called stress testing. And it's essentially what we're talking about, where you've maximized or thought you've maximized your level in a deck. And so you'll swap decks with your opponent, maybe play face up hands, and you'll just go for complete like optimal plays. Don't try anything too crazy, or even do try the crazy things on certain matches. But essentially what you're doing is you're stress testing, sorry, my words are difficult today, your deck, and giving it to another player and saying, all right, you've seen me play the deck, you play it now, and then I'll play your deck, and we're going to see how this goes. Not only are you going to learn my deck a little bit, but I'm going to learn your deck. And honestly, what that's given me when I do that is so much knowledge of just what their deck can do, because you're going to bring a fresh mindset really to each deck when you swap like that.
Yep.
And so it's a really good stress test for your deck, and see how it performs with a different player behind the wheel.
Yeah, you start to see new lines of play in both decks, and all that does is just make you a better player all around.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Another thing, which is, it's not in the notes I have from you for the episode, but going along with this is learning how to sideboard. Your sideboard is part of your deck.
Step one is to,
even if it changes, you know what your deck is weak against. You know what your deck is strong against. You should be able to segment your sideboard accordingly. And more importantly than knowing what to bring in is what to take out. That's always the hardest part. And that also goes along with knowing your role in the matchup. And that'll change based on if you're going first or second in game 2 and in game 3. Because I mean, if you're going second, you don't want to sideboard too passively or too aggressively. You need to find the right place to be in. Going second, you get to attack first. If you're an aggressive deck, maybe you sideboard more aggressively.
Yeah.
So you can maximize your damage faster. Or if you're not like balls to the wall aggro deck, you're going second. Maybe you sideboard in some more like turn ending negates.
Yeah.
Learn your sideboards, people. They're important.
Yeah. I was going to say step 1 to learning how to sideboard is subscribing to the Sideboard podcast. And then step 2 is hitting the notification
It's in the
bell.
name.
Literally in the name.
We did it for a reason.
Yeah. So do you have any final thoughts on championing a deck and why or what it will do for you as a player that we haven't already talked about?
I think everyone wanting to play on more than a strictly casual level should dedicate themselves to mastering or championing a deck.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't play other decks. It just means you need to master a deck that given any format, you can take that deck and play it. Granted, a few cards may change here and there. That's besides the point.
Yeah. I think I would just say to wrap up my thoughts is that sometimes there's not a deck out there that's champion worthy that you want to do for your deck of choice. And so it is okay to wait. Yeah, that's totally fine. Play different decks. Like me personally, I don't really like playing Invoker. I do play it a lot. It's not that fun for me. Same thing with Vegex. So I don't really have like a champion deck right now. But maybe if an Eternal Red deck comes out and I'll, see that it can play multiple formats and stick around for a while, I'll play that deck.
Yeah, you're definitely a red player.
Bro, every card game, red.
I would say, I think if I were to pick a deck for you that's been championed, I would say it's Red Baby.
Yeah.
Baby Vegeta.
You've
played
Baby.
So many different versions of that deck with that leader.
Bro,
and you've played it in multiple formats too. I actually think that I would say that that's probably your mastered or championed deck is Red Baby Vegeta.
I can agree with that. I just want to story time for a second with Red Baby Vegeta because I actually forgot about that deck because I don't have it currently built. But I remember that one time when I was playing, I forget where it was, but I was playing the mirror match and the guy got the absolute nut on me, turn 2, 6-drop and all that jazz. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. No, negate the attack, all that. And then on my turn 3, because I went first, I just played the Ginyu, my favorite Ginyu card from Clash of Fates.
Body change.
Awaken. Yeah, body change, awaken. I forgot what I negged, but I negged something to neg his ape down to 20 with
probably
that leader.
Negged
and then
the body change.
Well, his ape would neg the body change as well.
Oh,
so it would have died if I did that. I had something else. But then I traded with him. And then yeah, that was hot. And then the next turn I went into my own baby ape. I was like, yeah, bro. You don't play me in baby and expect to win, bro. It was fun.
One baby was bigger than the other.
Yeah. Well, I had both at that point. But yeah.
Caleb had 2 babies. You heard it here.
They were twins.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's it for today. Let's do our bookkeeping and get you guys out of here.
Yes. We don't need to do our affiliate links. We already got that done.
Yep. But check it out anyways.
Yes. Check it out. Because we all know you're going to buy singles because we're all filthy TCG players and that's what we do.
Guilty as charged.
Merch. We are working on converting our merch store over. I'm also repping. I got the sweatshirt on. It's super hot in my room right now, so can't wait to get this thing off because it is super warm.
That's why
if it's cold where you're living, pick up a sweatshirt.
Yep, or a t-shirt.
Yeah, we're working on getting all the stuff moved over and doing some extra stuff. I will dedicate more time to that probably after this week once work is a little less crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have all kinds of goodies. Maybe delving into some non DBS stuff and non like us branded things. Maybe just some kind of fun stuff in there too. Who knows? Let us know what you guys think. Throw us some ideas. Get those creative juices flowing in the comments.
Yep, always accepting ideas.
You got anything else?
If you guys have not checked out our sponsor, Madtown TCG, they have a brick and mortar shop here in, well, not Fresno, but it's next town over, Madera. They have online, you can buy sealed products or terrariums or things like that from their website. So give them a check out, and yeah, just check it out and support them. Helps us keep everything going. And other than that, that's it for our episode today.
Sweet. Let us know if you guys want to see some non-DBS stuff as well. We do degenerately play other things, not just DBS.
They want to see you play some Legacy Draft, Tim. It's not even a question.
I can queue that up. Maybe we'll do that next week.
Just do it. It's mine. We're just gonna add that in. Write it in.
I gotta see what draft is happening this weekend over the weekend. We'll have something fun for you guys. Maybe I'll stream it.
All right. Keep an eye out for that, guys. This is the Sideboard Podcast. Checking out.
See
like
ya.
a cool kid.